Good morning and welcome to another episode of Manna in the Morning. I'm Adele Tiat, and today I want to talk to you about emotions and how that affects whether or not we fulfill the purpose that we have for our lives. Because I believe that each of us has a purpose, specific purpose, to fulfill while on the earth. And many people have unhelpful emotions that keeps them from living effectively in their purpose. So when we want to see a certain result, when we want to do certain things as a habit, as a continuous expression, that doesn't just happen. It doesn't just show up. So there's this internal and external series of steps that you go through in order to get a result. So appreciate my mirror writing once again. But we go through this series of where you believe certain things about yourself, about what you want to do, about whatever. You have a set of beliefs. That drives what you think, which drives then what you feel. Your feelings is a great part of what determines what you actually do, where you take action or not. And obviously, the actions that you take on a consistent basis produce a result. The thing is, you can short-circuit this. The cycle doesn't only go that way, it also goes the other way. Because when you get a certain result, it affects what your next behavior is going to be. We change how we do things and what we do based on the result we got from the previous action that we took. If you consistently do certain things, they can generate feelings. Think about when you consistently exercise every day. That generates better feelings than consistently being a couch potato, right? So certain feelings that you have trigger certain thoughts, and they can make you think in certain ways. And when you have a thought enough times, it establishes a belief. So it goes both ways. So I've decided I'm doing a little challenge. It's starting on next week, Wednesday, around kingdom emotions. Because I believe that if we can cultivate kingdom emotions, mainly peace and joy, this whole thing would work a whole lot better. Because if you can change the feelings, how you feel about yourself, you will do better things, which will give you better results. You will have better relationships because the way that you treat other people will be better. If you change the feelings, how you feel about yourself, you will also in the process change the thoughts that you have about yourself. And in fact, in the workshop, in the challenge, we're going to focus more about what do you believe about yourself? Do you believe about you what God believes about you? What do you think? Where do you spend your time thinking and developing mind pictures? And I talk about this quite a lot, but with the pictures that you develop in your mind, you have control over. You have control over what you decide to think about. And when you listen to Caroline Leaf, which is, her stuff blows my mind, but when you listen to her and you understand that every single thought that you have actually creates a protein in your brain. Your thoughts become something physical. It creates a protein in your brain. That's how you form neural pathways. And when you have thoughts over and over and over and over, that pathway gets more established. Which means that when you start changing how you think, especially changing how you think about yourself, that doesn't happen overnight either. Because you built that pathway over many, many years, thinking certain thoughts about yourself. And you start filtering the input that you get from outside through that specific lens. You get to a point where you are not able to hear other people say you're beautiful because you have convinced yourself that you're so fat. Where you can't hear other people say that you're good at something because you've convinced yourself that you're so useless. That's not the way to live. But there is a way to break that. And we're going to talk about that in the challenge in more detail. And we need community for that. We need other people to hold us accountable because you also know what the heart is full of, the mouth will run over. So what you consistently think will come out of your mouth at some point. And you need a community of people around you that will say, hey, that's not true. That's a load of bull. You're repeating what the enemy is saying. You're agreeing with the enemy's camp. Change your words, change your thoughts. You need to agree with God. You need to agree with what God thinks about you, what God says about you, what God believes about you. And I can tell you, it is a whole lot better than what most of us believe and think about ourselves right now. Even if you have a really good image of yourself, even if you have a really healthy view of who you are and who He's made you, you have room to grow and getting more established in thinking and believing about you what God thinks and believes about you. Because, as I've said again, when He created you for a purpose, He did not create you with failure in mind. He created you for that purpose, to be successful at that purpose. He's created a special field of favor for you, where you will shine and have great results, because it's what He made you for. It's the different assignments that He's given to you over time, during your life. In different seasons of your life, those assignments might look different, but they're all expressions of your inner purpose, what He has created you for, that you cannot fail at, except if you agree with the enemy. So what are you believing about yourself? What are you thinking about yourself every day? Do you have conversations with yourself in the mirror sometimes? Or is that just me? Do you hear voices? Or is that just me? I mean, don't we all hear voices? Maybe not like audible voices around us or inside our heads when there's no one there, but like we all have conversations internally, at least with ourselves. We have arguments with ourselves on a daily basis. And if you think you don't, I can guarantee you're simply not aware of it. But every time when you think about, should I have that chocolate or should I not? You're having an argument with yourself. You're having an argument with the best version of you, between the best version and the worst version of you. The one that knows to do right and does it, and the one who knows to do right and doesn't do it. Now, the Bible says that the one who knows to do right and doesn't do it, to him that's sin. But it puts a whole different spin on what sin is in a world where we want to have rules and we want to have like gray areas of what's sin. But anyway, that's a topic for a different day. So just go think about that today. Do you believe about you what God believes about you? Do you think about you the way God thinks about you? And do you feel about you the way God feels about you? Because when you can align those things, your feelings about things around you, and most of anxiety and depression and feelings of overwhelm are rooted in thinking and believing things about ourselves that is not true. It's what we believe and think about ourselves that really drives how we see the world around us, that creates the filter that we look at the world through. There's a saying that I read somewhere way back in high school that said 2 men looked through prison bars. One saw mud, the other stars. And that stayed with me so much because it speaks about how we can be in exactly the same circumstances, but have a different perspective, see something completely different. And I can guarantee you that their mental state was completely different. So what mental state do you want to live in? Do you want to live in fear and anxiety and stress and overwhelm and depression? Or do you want to live in peace that surpasses understanding? and joy unspeakable and full of glory. I, for one, choose the second. And interestingly enough, as I launched this challenge, I was hit with one of the worst days in terms of myself having depression, anxiety, all of the things that I'm going to be helping people in this challenge to get out of. And I had to go put into practice the exact same things that I'm going to be sharing with you. So if you want to know more about the challenge, drop a comment below and I'll send you the details. And come and join me. Let's walk a journey. Let's go and explore what God says about us so we can think and feel better. I love you. See you tomorrow. Cheers.